The Chiefs are nearing the final stretch as the anchor leg is going to consist of 5 tough teams over a strenuous timeline. As usual, Kansas City takes it week by week, and up next is another divisional game against the Chargers. So what challenges do they present? We're going to break down the latest Chiefs headlines and press conference clips now. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Wednesday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. We got some roster moves ahead of the Chiefs' Week 14 primetime matchup that were announced today. We're also going to check in with team personnel, plus we take a look at the remainder of the schedule and the playoff picture. Let us discuss, but first, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's dive into it. Alrighty, folks, we are back on schedule. The Chiefs hosting the Chargers for some Sunday night football as they gear up for Week 14. So 5 games remaining on the season for the Super Bowl champs, and it ain't going to be easy. Number 1, Los Angeles is hot since playing the Chiefs in Week 4. The Chargers have gone 6-2 while their defense held the Falcons last week to just 1 touchdown on 4 red zone trips. Now, coincidentally, Kansas City only made 1 trip to the end zone last week after 5 red zone trips. Now, the quarterback Justin Herbert ain't doing too bad either. The 26-year-old has taken a leap in the 2024 season heading into last week. Over his last 6 games, Herbert is averaging 268 passing yards per game, the 4th most in the NFL. Now, ESPN writes that the young QB is getting healthier, which has enabled the Chargers to put him under center more and use more play action. He has used play action on 37% of his dropbacks over the last 6 games, and when using play action in the previous 6 games, Herbert has 703 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 703 yards when playing play action are the most in the NFL since Week 6. All right, after the Chargers, the schedule doesn't even let up. Kansas City is then going to hit the road for Cleveland, a team who really challenged a very hot Broncos squad in primetime this past week. Now, the Browns game starts a 3-game slate over the duration of just 10 days. So from the 15th of December all the way to Christmas Day, the Chiefs are going to face Cleveland on the road. They're going to host the Texans, then go back on the road and face the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Then the back-to-back champs are going to conclude the regular season against Denver on the road. So it's a tough road ahead for Kansas City as they look to close out the regular season and potentially pick up the 1 seed in the AFC. Right now, the Chiefs have a 59% chance of the 1 seed, while Buffalo has a 37% chance. But if Kansas City and the Bills in the regular season with the same record, Buffalo would win the number 1 seed due to its head-to-head victory over the Chiefs. So right now, KC is 11-1, and Buffalo is 1 game behind at 10-2. With that, we're going to check in with the team who spoke this morning on Wednesday with the local media. We hear from head coach Reid, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, cornerback Trent McDuffie, and defensive end Charles Omenihu. So we're going to kick it off with Big Red, followed by QB1.
Yeah, he's potentially, yes. I mean, he's doing good. We'll just see how it goes here in the next week or 2. So, but he is making good progress, so that's a plus. Yeah, he ended up with 20 some odd plays, but yes, I would say yes. It was wanted to get him into the mix, get him caught up with the speed of the game. We were thinking right around 20 plays. Didn't necessarily care if the carries or not. I'm glad it worked out that way though. So he came out healthy, feeling good, no setbacks.
Andy, what's just going to be the process of determining your left tackle for Sunday? What's the process this week?
Yeah, literally seeing what we can do at practice and how he feels and communication there. And I'm playing it day by day, so see how it all ends up. I think it's probably going to go that way throughout the week here. So
he will get snaps with the ones.
Yeah, he took some snaps last week, but this will be faster for him. Last week was a short week, so this will be a better indicator. See where he's at.
Will Tooney be your guy?
That's one of the options. Yeah, that's one of the options. Wanye, still in there too. So
I don't know if it's affected me too much. I mean, I've played with all those guys before, and I know those guys are out there battling. They're out there, and they've played winning football before, and so I just go about my business, go about my process, and try to stay within the scheme of the offense. And then when stuff breaks down, I try to go out there and make plays. And so that's what I'm going to continue to do. Yeah, I mean, you see how talented he is. I mean, the physical gifts are there. It's been cool to watch him interact with other guys too. I mean, you can tell he's smart. He's willing to teach guys, which is big in that room. We got a lot of young guys there, and so I've been very impressed, and I'm excited for him to get more and more work with more and more practice, and hopefully be ready to go as soon as possible. I think it keeps you motivated, which I think can be a good thing in the end. I think sometimes I look back on the year we lost in the Super Bowl, and we were very dominant throughout the regular season, and it's just kind of like you get in this point where you start coasting because you're winning games, you're just kind of doing the normal thing. Whereas if you look at us last year, even though it didn't go the way we wanted to, it felt like we just continued to work every single week, and we knew we had to get better, and we didn't let the details slip, and we ended up playing our best football at the end of the year. And so that's the hope, is that with all these close finishes, we're getting wins, but it's keeping us hungry so that we can try to continue to get better as the season goes on. Every team I've been on, I feel like has been a championship team. It's been plays here or there that have either we've lost in overtime of the AFC Championship game or lost in the Super Bowl. But I feel like we have the talent, and we have the coaching staff, and we have the work ethic to go out there and win any football game. It's about going out there and doing that on a week-to-week, day-to-day basis. And I feel like we have those guys that are motivated enough to do that. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, it never is. You have to really play your best football at the perfect time in order to win a championship, and that's what I've learned through my time in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of respect. I mean, he's one of those guys that, like, every ball he throws is a perfect spiral. You can tell he can throw the football as good as anybody. He works extremely hard, and I think what gets lost in it sometimes how tough he is. I mean, he battles through a lot of injuries. He plays the game the right way, and I've played him in a lot of great football games because of the type of talent that he is.
Alrighty, now it is time to hear from the defensive side of the ball. Welcome to the podium, Omenihu, for the first time since being back on the field, and the secondary's leader, Trent McDuffie.
For me, it's like a mental thing. I've watched the game over now like 5 times. I watched all my plays in every angle possible, so I know where I could have been better at. And it's a mental thing. I didn't forget how to play football. I didn't forget how to rush. I think just my mind may have been on trying to make the big play all the time, other than just looking back at how I played when I was playing at a high level and doing that. Yeah, when we was in training camp, like month 6, that was the hardest point, because I was still had the little BFR machine on my leg, and that shit hurt like hell. And having to do that and still just having to rebuild your strength. I think now that I've gone through this, and I pray to God I never ever go through this again. I would not wish this on anybody, but around month 8 is where I knew that I was going to be good. And I kind of knew when I was going to come back. I pretended like I didn't, but I knew the whole time.
It seemed like you gave some hints.
I did. Nobody caught on. I gave hints in August. But I think June or something.
Sort of when
Honestly, I think it's just the little details that are happening within our defense. A lot of times it's situational, communication on the back end could be better, but I think the big thing for us moving forward is just making plays on the ball. I think a lot of times we see we're always in the right position, or some little happens that the other team just happens to make the play. So going into this week and moving forward, I think the defensive back room got to just get that confidence back, trust each other and just go out there and play how we always play. In our defense, we have some calls that are dual calls and that can change on the fly, so with motions and things like that. And during the week we practice them all the time, but for whatever reason, sometimes when we get on the field, things happen where we're not used to it, or something different happens where the communication is just a little late, or they make a call that we don't want to be in. That's kind of bit us in the butt, but I think from all the things that have happened, we've been able to come back in the next day and learn from it and realize what our mistake was and clean it up the next week. We know he has a big arm. He's definitely somebody who can make all the throws from weak side hash all the way out to the field on comebacks, things like that. But also another thing that he's been starting to do is run the ball. And that's something that watching this film you kind of see and sense. And when things aren't there, he tucks in and does a really good job on his feet. And week 4, I think he had an ankle injury that was kind of messed up, so he wasn't running that much, and that kind of limited him. So coming into this week, there's definitely more of a focus that, yeah, he can leave the pocket. Yeah, we got to contain him, keep him in the pocket, and we've gone against him enough to know what kind of arm and what kind of quarterback he is. So going out there, like I said, playing our defense and making plays on the ball.
Now, we also got our first look at the practice injury report as the team took to the field for work this afternoon. It looks like no new injuries to report. We also learned from Coach Reid that kicker Spencer Schrader has been officially moved to the IR, and kicker Matthew Wright, in return, has officially been added to the 53-man roster. Alrighty, folks, let us wrap up today's show with a quote from Tom Brady. Isn't that ironic, wrapping up a Chiefs show with some Brady? Well, Brady does give his insight on the Chiefs, and he says what a lot of us have been thinking. It might not be pretty, but winning close games is the mark of a very good football team. He said, quote, "They're going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. I don't care who they play, where they play. It's a lot like the teams that I played for at the Patriots. If you were going to beat us, man, you had to beat us. We weren't going to beat ourselves." Brady continued to sing the Chiefs' praises, saying that organization does so many things the right way. Listen, if anybody knows a successful team and what it looks like, it is this guy, so I'm going to trust his analysis. All right, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. As always, we'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you back here on Thursday.